Hello everybody and welcome to another Nephilim build. Today we're going to let the devil out as Matt Murdock the Daredevil from Marvel Comics. As always, keep in mind these videos are about capturing the spirit of the character rather than capturing their abilities perfectly. With that said, let's start with ability scores. Using the standard point rate with the 15 to wisdom. Blind characters in fiction see more than people with vision, and Matt sees more than all of them. Except for Toph, of course. Next we'll put the 14 to dexterity. Daredevil is yet another Olympic level acrobat who is also one of the best martial artists in the world. Marvel's got like 30 of those. I think DC has 50. We'll put the 13 to charisma. Practicing law, like most things in the world, is less about who's right and more about who's better at talking. Or louder. Usually louder. Or just who has the better scare tactic. It's how churches stay filled, how Republicans keep winning elections no matter how badly they fuck everyone over, and why Murdock dresses like the devil. No, I will not stop bitching about the people trying to erase me from society. Get over it. At a vast 12 in Constitution, he can take hits from Kingpin. We'll put the 10 to intelligence. He finished law school and dump strength. We won't need it. For species, unless I missed something, Matt Murdock is a human. And no, that obscure alternate reality where he's an actual devil doesn't count. And yes, I am assuming that exists. Prove me wrong. We'll get resourceful, pick intimidation, and take the alert feat. When you can outreact Spider-Man, nothing is getting the drop on you. We'll make a custom background for your increases into wisdom, charisma, and dexterity. We'll pick insight and perception for skills, the dulcimer for the closest thing we have to a piano, and the lucky feat. Moving on to class, we're going to start off as a monk. Yes, I know we need blindside, but I want dex saves and no one starts at level 1. We'll get said dexterity and strength saving throws and pick athletics and acrobatics for skills. I'll also be proficient with monk weapons and painter supplies. You know, for giggles. At level 1 we get martial arts and unarmored defense. We're now going to multi-class to fighter, getting light and medium armor, shields, and all weapons. Can we get a fighter multi-class count in the comments? At level 1 we get second wind in our fighting style, taking blind fighting. Now before we go any further, let me address something. I checked and True Strike does not work if you're blind, so we won't be getting that boon. Got it? Good. We'll also get Weapon Mastery, picking the light hammer for his billy clubs. Yes, you heard me, we need Nick and he throws the damn things enough to justify it. I still think Weapon Mastery should have had you pick properties to be trained in, and those properties have requirements for what weapons can be used with them. Because let's get real, you're only ever going to use a melee and a ranged weapon at most. I can see an argument for picking 2 different melee weapons if you're dual wielding, but no one needs 4. Back to Monk. At level 2 we'll get Monk's Focus, Unarmored Movement, and Uncanny Metabolism. At level 3 we'll get Deflect Attacks and our Monastic Tradition. We're going to go with the Warrior of the Open Hand, getting Open Hand Technique. At level 4 we'll get Slow Fall and take the Observant feat, bumping Wisdom and Expertise and Perception. Now we've got a pretty good martial baseline, but it's missing something. Something to give it that extra spice and make it stand out. Oh, of course, silly me. It's good old Catholic guilt. Making people feel like they're not enough no matter how hard they try, since someone figured out that people are less likely to stand up for themselves if you convince them it's their fault that you're hurting them. So we're going to multi-class to Cleric, getting our Divine Order. We're going to take Protector because I really don't want to have to justify more cantrips than I need. Speaking of, we'll get 3, taking Guidance and Resistance to fill the slots, and Thaumaturgy. Apparently his billy club has a microphone. We'll also get 4 spells, taking Shield of Faith for AC, Bless for better rolls, Bane for intimidation, and Healing Word for some Infernal Fury healing. Oh, I'm sorry, did you think the gameplay footage was just set dressing, or were you just not here when I made Blade? I'm including Marvel Rivals. Speaking of, we're now going to multiclass to Ranger, getting Investigation. Quad classing, how many times have I done that? At level 1 we get Favored Enemy for Sonic Pursuit. We'll also get 2 spells, taking Long Stride for speed and Jump to jump good. At level 2 we'll get Deft Explorer, expertising acrobatics. We'll also get another fighting style, taking Druidic Warrior. We'll take Thorn Whip for a grappling hook, a message because apparently he's a telepath. Can you tell I only watched the movie? We'll also take Ensnaring Strike to wrap someone with that grappling hook. At level 3 we'll get our Ranger Conclave, taking the Hunter. We'll get Hunter's Lore and Hunter's Prey, taking Colossus Slayer. Side note, do people really still think Gloomstalker is the only good Ranger subclass? Beastmaster's been viable since Tasha's, and Hunter's always been good. It's just the obligatory more of what the class was already doing subclass. Sure, the Swarmkeeper's fly ability sucks compared to other subclasses that get a fly speed at that level, but otherwise that subclass is pretty solid. Fey Wanderer makes a great dual wield build, especially with the new rules set, and the 2 newer subclasses look fun. Anyway, we'll also take Goodberry for a snack. Back to Cleric. At level 2 we'll get Channel Divinity. Don't worry, we'll ignore the part of the book that says we can work miracles until it's convenient for us to acknowledge it. in about 3 more levels. We'll also take protection from evil and good. At level 3, we'll get our divine domain. We'll demand order in the court with our voice of authority and take proficiency with persuasion. We'll also get command, heroism, hold person, and zone of truth from our domain and take aid for more HP. At level 4, we'll take the sculptor feat rounding dexterity. Yes, we already have blindside from our fighting style. I'm sure your DM will let you stack it if you ask really nicely. And if they're not a prick. We'll also take mending to fix our suit and enhance ability for peak human feats. Comics really like that term, peak human. At level 5 we'll get Seer Undead as well as Mass Healing Word and Slow from our domain. Unless you get some team-ups and rivals, ignore these. Though we will take protection from energy for resistances and Spirit Guardians to let the devil out. We basically have our whole kit now it's just time to fill space. Back to Fighter at level 2 we'll get Action Surge and Tactical Mind. At level 3 we'll get our Martial Archetype, taking the Champion for improved critical and remarkable athlete. At level 4 we'll raise our Wisdom, at level 5 we'll get Extra Attack and Tactical Shift, and at level 6 we'll raise our Dexterity. At level 7 we'll get another Fighting Style, taking 2 Weapon Fighting. It was honestly bugging me that we didn't have this sooner. Lastly, at level 8 we'll take the Boon of Spell Recall, capping Wisdom. Now that we're level 20 we finally have our modifiers. Our AC with an armor defense is 19, our movement speed is 40, and our average HP is 134 with 98 and 11 d10 hit dice. And with that, we are done. Now what can this build do? To start, we're making 4 attacks per turn without resources and 7 with them. Remember, the light weapon property only procs once, even with Nick. We're also racking up damage with Hunter's Mark and Colossus Slayer, and we're packing the best personal AoE in the game. We're also insanely perceptive, second only to Top and only because the Observant feat changed between editions. For weaknesses, we only have 10 feet of blindsight if we're staying in character. A good DM will work with you and the build you're making, but that's not something I can guarantee. We're also packing very little magic damage, and our best ranged option is throwing sticks. We've got less HP than I'd like for a melee build, and while our strength saves are good, a low strength score means shadows are still a threat. Weaknesses aside, anyone who can't stand the heat should stay out of Hell's Kitchen. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to support my channel, there are links to my Discord, Twitch, second channel, and Patreon down in the doobly-doo. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.